Welcome back to another YouTube video. Time to talk about TNA, AEW, and NXT. TNA to start. Elena Black beat Indy Hartwell and Mara Sade. That was pre-show match. Um, Tracy Brooks, new title. TNA Knockout TV title. They're doing a tournament for it. Mustafa Ali is going to defend his belt against two mystery opponents. I'm going to say it now. It was Mustafa Ali versus Uha Nation and Rich One, and Mustafa Ali retained the belt. There you go. Ricky Ricky Sosa versus Eric Young. Match was good. Ricky Sosa beat Eric Young, as he should. And then we get to the main show. Amazing Red, Leon Slater, Frankie Kazarian, Mr. Elegant, Cedric, Casey Navarro, and Fabian Hector. Cedric escaped with the belt as Amazing Red was going to go up and grab it. Cedric grabbed it before he did. So there you go. AJ Francis versus Elijah. Elijah won. Yeah, there you go. Match was good. I'm honestly gonna blow through these matches as fast as I can, or talk about these matches as fast as I can. Sorry. Elegance Brand versus Rosemary and Allie. Rosemary and Allie win the knockout tag titles. Cool, good, great. And that triple threat that I talked about already, which Mustafa Ali retained. Eddie Edwards versus Moose. Moose beat Eddie Edwards. Alicia threw in the towel, which is the only way to win the match. Throwing the belt, or throwing the towel. Zaya Brookside beat Zia Lee for the knockout championship. How long will she have it? I don't know. Hardy's, Brian Myers, Ray Bronson, Righteous, Great Hands, 4-way tag ladder match. Hardy's win. Hardy's new tag champs. Don't know how long they're going to keep him this time, but we'll see. Mike Santana versus Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth won back the TNA World title. Nick Nemeth is TNA World Champion again. All right, I'm going to go to NXT now. And people are saying Mike Santana might go to WWE. He might. He might not. Who knows? Anyway, Tony D'Angelo versus Naraku. That was our first match. Tony D'Angelo retained his belt. Match was good. Eventually, Naraku will get that NXT title, right? Probably. Zarya versus Tatum Paxley. Zarya retained her belt. Match was good. Just as good as their first match, to be honest. Shiloh Hill and Tristan Angels. Shiloh Hill won with a top rope neckbreaker, I think it was. Something like that. Either way, Shiloh Hill won. Shiloh Hill, he looks alright. He's alright. Ariana Grace versus Ren Sinclair. Ren Sinclair retained her belt. And then later, Kendall Gray beat Lola Vice in the main event. So Kendall Gray and Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair are both champions. And they celebrated at the end of the night, by the way. Dion Lennox versus Shaquan Triggers. Shaquan beat him, as I figured he would, because Shaquan broke away from the group. You can't break away from a group and then lose to the leader of the group. Doesn't work like that. At least for the most part. Miles Bourne versus Tavion Heights. Miles Bourne beat his friend. Tavion Heights retained his belt. Then we got that women's match I talked about already. Yeah, NXT, pretty good show. Slammiversary was also a good show. All right. AEW time. Why we saved this show for last? There was a lot on this show. All right. So the buy-in, you had Drilla Maloney versus Daniel Garcia. Drilla Maloney beat him. Mika versus Sky Blue qualifier for the TBS Championship match happening on Dynamite. Mika won, beat Sky Blue, so she's in the match. Divine Dominion versus Thunder Rosa and Olympia. Divine Dominion win. They retain their belts, as you would expect. Young Bucks versus Unbound Co., which is Shingo Takagi and Teton, and versus El Sky Team, which is Mystico and Masquerita Dorada. The Young Bucks win. Match was great. Lots of high flying all over the place, as you would expect. And yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kenny Omega. 35 to 40 minutes, I believe. Match was awesome. Kenny Omega won. Will Kenny Omega get the world title before All In? Maybe. Maybe he beats MJF in Canada when they go to Canada in July. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see. Mox versus Bandito. Mox beat Bandito. Match was awesome. Bandito's mask kind of got ripped, so people were like, "Hey, we know what his face looks like now. Cool." Yeah, you weren't supposed to. Anyway, yeah, Mox won. Match was bloody on, well, kind of both sides really. Bandito bled first, but yeah. Shota Umino versus Pac. Shota Umino beat Pac, retained his IWGP Global Championship. Match was good. Shota Umino, future world champion in New Japan, definitely. Toxic Spider Tekla versus Starlight Kid. That whole match was built so Tekla could be the person from Stardom, whoever they sent. And that's exactly what happened. Starlight Kid looked good in the match. That stretch muffler submission, that looked pretty good. Brock Lesnar used to do that. Looked way better than when Brock Lesnar did it, though. Anyway, Cope and Christian versus the Dogs. Clark Connors and David Finlay. Cope and Christian win. There was a ref bump, and Jay White's back. Jay White, Blade Runner, David Finlay, lays into a spear from Cope. They win the match. Jay White hands him both the tag belts, and Christian's like, "How's this guy helping us?" So, somewhere down the line, you would expect Jay White turns heel on Cope, and then all the Bang Bang Gang are going to be heels, and then we get the Guns versus Cope and Christian for the tag belts. And I would guess that happens before All In, because All In, we're going to do, bare minimum, it'll be Young Bucks versus Cope and Christian. Whether FTR come back around before All In, don't know. I'm sure they will. Anyway, Maya World versus Mercedes. Match was awesome. Maya World and Mercedes put on an awesome match, and Mercedes won. So she is the only person, the only woman or men or whatever to win the Owen Hart Cup back-to-back years. Now we'll see win the world title at All In. If you're asking me, yes, she wins the world title at All In. Anyway, 6-on-6, Team Briscoe versus Team MJF and the Don Callis family. Match was awesome. Thumbtacks, chairs, tables, Nintendo. Kyle O'Reilly had a Nintendo in his backpack. And Leo Rush was in a bag. So, yeah. Leo Rush. So there was a 7th person in this match, or a 13th person in this match, I should say. Leo Rush was in the match. He did some stuff. And the one little segment he had with MJF was like, MJF versus Leo Rush for the Dynamite Diamond Ring somewhere down the line? Why not? Why not? Not saying that Leo Rush has to win the Dynamite Diamond Ring, but if the match happened, I'd be fine with it. So yeah, Mark Briscoe and his gang win, obviously. Andrade turned on MJF and turned on the Don Callis family. So he's a face now. Will he still get that world title match against MJF at some point? Yes. Will it be in Mexico City when they go to Mexico? Sure, why not? Mark Briscoe's world title match happening on Dynamite. We all know he's not going to win. He wasn't going to win regardless of when he wanted this title match. He was always going to lose. But either way, match was awesome. Swerve, Will Ospreay, awesome match in the Owen Cup final. and Will Ospreay wins, and he's going to All In. The Death Riders come out to celebrate with him. Calling it now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Death Riders turn on Ospreay after he gets the world title. I'm not saying it'll be that night, but I'm saying if the Death Riders turn on him after he gets the world title and one of them goes for the belt, easy story right there. Claudio, Mox, Pac, whoever, even Daniel Garcia or Wheeler Yuta could go for the belt. You know, if one of those two goes for the belt, there immediately lose it. Immediately. Granted, if any of those five, the only believable one that could beat him for the belt, just because he's beaten him before, Mox. I mean, Claudio could do it, but overall, it'd be Mox. That'd be the believable one. Anyway, that's everything. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. That was a lot of wrestling. This video was like 11 minutes. So, yeah, guys. I'm out of here.